Good evening and welcome, or let me rather say good day, everybody. Welcome to it. It's the OMU Podcast, back again with your host, Ncedo Marele. And as usual, we have another amazing man of Muir that we're going to be chatting to right now on the interwebs. So, guys, having you guys watch our content and also liking our content helps us reach more Muirites all across the world. So please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please follow us on our various social media platforms, that is on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on LinkedIn. That's OMU or the OMU, the Old Muirite Union are the words that you should be looking for right there on social media. And also, please do subscribe to our channel and like the content. Most importantly, interaction drives a lot more engagement. Okay, so today we've got another special gentleman from you, an old Muirite, and he tells me just now that he is in the world of cleaning up all the explosives. We'll talk more about that in our interview. By explosives, I mean I think bombs. That's what you were talking about. Yeah, so they're cleaning up bombs. And I don't know what the political situation happening up in the Middle East, whether they're going to call him over there to go and clean up. We'll never know. We'll find out from him. We've got Mr. Ashley Williams. Sir, how are you today?
No, very well, man. I'm glad to be with you guys. As I say, my good friend Dean Marburg got me onto this program, but I'm glad to be with you.
Shout out to Mr. Myburg, all the way in New Zealand, I think.
Yes, New Zealand. Yes. He wears a black jersey when he watches rugby nowadays. It breaks my heart, but but otherwise he's still okay.
But he's lucky. He's got the number one and number two teams, supporting two of the best teams in the world. So I think it's okay. Let him go on that one.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can play it both sides.
Yes. So to kick things off, we just want to set the scene so that everybody gets to know who you are and what your journey was to Muir College. So please take us back, sir, to you as a young man. How was your journey to Muir College? Because we know that some boys, their journeys sort of start from a college hill or from a convent, and they naturally graduate to Muir College.
Yeah. Now, Mike, my journey started much later.
Okay.
I was brought up in East London. I was an East London boykie, and we were staying on the wrong side of the river in East London on the western side, in a place called Greenfields. And I went to the local school, which was called George Randall, and it was a dual medium English and Afrikaans school and smallish school. And I wouldn't say a big fish, but a medium-sized fish in a very small pond. And then suddenly in 1971, things changed. Earlier the year, my mom went in for an operation. They found she had very serious cancer, and we then moved. My dad got to work in Port Elizabeth to be closer to the family, and we bought a house just obliquely opposite the old red brick building Muir. We bought a house there next to the veterinary surgeon who was there for many years, Dr. Jordan. So obviously I was going to Muir. So I was at that stage. My father told me he had gone and he had, got me enrolled and everything without me being there. And he was saying how impressed he was with the school because he found the headmaster walking around with his academic robes on,
Yes.
and his cane in the other hand, and he thought this was great. Now, obviously, for a young 14-year Ashley Williams, this didn't sound very much like something else, because college schools to me, in my mind at that stage, was something like Selborne, where
Yes.
these guys were just a step or three higher than us. If we played rugby, it would be our first team against their second team and this type of thing. So I was really scared when went into those hallowed halls for the first time. And then I got into the class, and the guys were quite normal. But the thing what was actually quite interesting and amusing is, near the end of the day, guy who became a very good friend later, Oki or Robin Pederit, he said to me, he wonders now, is his family going to come fetch him with the Rolls Royce today, or which car they're going to come? So immediately I thought, listen, Williams, you're out of your league with these these rich college boys, eh? And when we left outside, I then found the little 1950 something Morris, the green one, was called the Rolls Royce. So then I realized, no, these were normal guys, and I would fit in quite well at the school at that stage. So that was as I say, my introduction to Muir. Really wonderful times.
Nice. So,
Mm,
when you think about school, there are certain smells
mm.
and certain things that you can remember. Can you recall from all the way back then, um, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about Muir College?
Sure, there's a lot of things, What I think that comes to mind to me is discipline, tradition, these things that I just felt that become inculcated in my personality
Mm,
and later years, and things such as respect for people and treating everyone the same, and obviously actually treating your juniors even better than what you would always treat your superiors because they
mm.
needed it. So I think these are the type of things that come into my mind when I think about Muir, that it really, I thought, made me the man I was, and I think I still am at this stage. So yes, wanting to make the world a better place, and I think that all came from the Muir background.
Okay. So after school, um, you what sort of world did you go into? What did you basically do after school?
You see, what happened to me was we all had to do national service. That stage, there wasn't really much of an option. And I got my call-up papers, and I saw I was going to the School of Engineers, and in Afrikaans, they called it the Genie School.
Mm,
So I thought this must be for quite clever guys, geniuses. That's why I'm going there, Genie. And but then I found out one of my sister's pals from Brandwag was also going there, and he wasn't the smartest peanut in the packet. So I realized, listen, I'm definitely not going there because I'm very clever. So I went off and I was going to do my 12 months. And as I say, I quite enjoyed the first 12 months. I think coming from Muir, having short hair wasn't a problem,
yeah.
What was very nice, obviously, from coming from Muir was that I could wear boots.
Mm,
Muir, we weren't allowed to wear boots, we had to wear shoes without toe caps and this type of thing. So it was quite an easy, the whole military thing to me was easy, and I was a military engineer, which I enjoyed. And at the end of the first year, when I got a rank, a second lieutenant, in English we call him a bicycle. If you see him, you want to start pedaling on him. But the end of the day, I enjoyed it so much that I stayed on, and actually what was happening is I was looking at there was a bonus after 2 years that you could go out with, and this could help if I wanted to go to varsity. Because remember, at that stage, as I say, my mom had passed off. We were a new, re united family, so there wasn't a lot of money. So I thought this would help when I go to university. Obviously, I wanted to join guys like Dean at Rhodes, and my dad said, no, 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 no. If you go to Rhodes, you'll become a communist, and that was very bad at those days. And I ended up applying at UPE, but at the end of the 2 years, I had a guy who said to me, listen, but why don't you join permanent force? You're quite intelligent, and you can go to the military academy, and while you study, they pay you. So yes, so then I stayed, and after 3 years, my fourth year in the military, I went to the military academy. 3 years there, wonderful times down at
mm,
Saldanha Bay. Not much studying. The third year, I realized, listen, now you have to do something to make sure you get your degree. So then as I say, I graduated with, believe it or not, political science and military geography. I didn't even take geography at Muir, but anyway, it was good times. So, and that's where my military career started, and it basically ended in 2002 when I was the Chief of Staff of the Engineer Corps of South Africa. And as I say, I still feel good about my corps, depending
mm,
irrespective of what people say about the army. The military engineers have built so many bridges here in the Eastern Cape in the flood areas. I built bridges at that time in Tuba after that Hurricane de Moina. I've lifted, or my people have lifted, thousands of landmines, and I don't care who planted it. The landmine is a bad thing, and I want to get rid of it. So
mm,
I think all in all, I had a very nice career in a corps that was actually, I think, doing more good than bad in the old South Africa and in the new South Africa. And I'm
mm.
still very proud that I'm an engineer, or as we call them, a sapper.
Okay.
So that was my career, very brief, 28 years there. And then, as I say, then I, I felt that, I was going nowhere. I would be a colonel for the next 20 years, most probably. And then I got an opportunity to join a company called Mechem,
Mm,
which was part of the Denel. And they were the people that first built the Casper vehicles, and they were the first commercial humanitarian demining companies way back in 1991 in Kuwait. And I joined them first as head of operations and later as the CEO. And we built up quite a big company, building new Caspers, mainly being used in peacekeeping operations. And I was working in about 20 countries, and I visited about 49, for different work and this type of thing, and mainly with the UN. And it was really, really a good career that I really enjoyed. But at some stage, they took me out, said, I'm getting 60 now, you're a bit old, you must come and do business development. And you know the history of Denel and state capture.
mm,
And I
mm.
was very fortunate when I was headhunted by these Swiss guys in 2018, and I joined them. And I've had a very nice career there now, which I hope will end the end of this year. So
Oh,
all in all, I think got a very wonderful career. And with these Swiss people, I think my highlight was, getting us into the Ukraine,
mm.
uh, opening up a company there. Very difficult
Yeah,
because the
yeah, I can
fallback
imagine.
position in Ukraine is always no, sorry, can't do it. No,
Mm,
no, Ukrainian law. It's a very negative environment. But we stuck it out for 2 years, and we were registered. We've got a company. We've got over 70 of these demining machines. The flail and the tillers. Got over 70 of them running in the country for the different, from the Defense Force to the police to what they call SESU, the State Emergency Services of the Ukraine. So we're really doing good work there. And we've
mm.
also got people then clearing specific areas in the Ukraine. So and now obviously the new flavor of the day where we're working quite hard on now is Syria, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
also a
yeah.
difficult country. And then Azerbaijan, we've also got big contracts going. They had their war with Armenians, and now there's
Mm.
quite a big area that has to be cleared. So yeah, so we go around to all the nicer places
In the
on the
world.
globe, and we work there. But most of the time, as I say, I'm office bound. I do the planning and visit, say every 3 months or so. So people mustn't get the idea that I'm still crawling around on my knees and this type of thing. No, I'm not doing it. We've got people doing it. Yes.
All right, cool. So
Mm.
moving right along. So I know in school, right, when you grow up, there's obviously certain spots that we're not allowed to go to, and those most of the time end up being our favorite spots on campus. During
Uh,
your time, because this should be very interesting. During your time, I think you were back at the Red Brick Building. So what was a slightly forbidden spot that was your favorite?
Man, I really thought hard along when you asked me that. For me, I was a bit of, I wouldn't say a nerd, but I was more very much into this to being a good scholar. So I
Mm,
wasn't really a rebel. But the place that we were all afraid to go to was what we called Bob, the bowels of bureaucracy. Just off the bathrooms, you'd go past Ati Marie's office and you'd go into that hallowed area. So you're
mm,
very, very afraid to go there. So you only went there if Ati maybe called in, if you were fortunate to play for the first team, he'd call you in and he would give you a pep talk on the Friday. Or otherwise, if you were called in, you knew you were going to be bending down and getting a few whacks on the backside. So there was nearly really a place. The only other place of Muir that I could think of that I would regularly trespass was in my day. You must realize that the hospital, the provincial hospital,
mm,
and the
yes.
golf course, they were right at the end of the town. There was nothing other side that. And me staying in Cannon Street and having some of my friends, the richer guys, staying in Winterhoek Drive,
Mm,
I would have to go visit them sometimes on a Saturday evening. Now, it was a long walk around, so I would normally climb over the fence at our old sport fields that I see now Handhaaf's got,
yeah.
and I would always be so afraid of the kiwikis, that were breeding there, coming after you, and then climbing over the fence there in Penford side, and
Yes.
then going down to go visit pals and the stuff things. That was the only real place I trespassed. Yeah, as I say, a bit of a nerd, maybe, yes.
you took us back onto your journey after school, and
Mm,
you've had quite a big career.
mm.
If your 18-year-old self could see you now, what do you think would surprise
Uh,
him about you right now?
yes, I would surprise myself a lot of the things. Firstly, I was at school. I was very strong on the, let's call it, the commercial side.
Yeah.
I've got A's matric and this type of thing for it. And I was hoping this I was going into. So I went into a completely different career. So I would never have believed that I could do that. But
Mm,
I do think that the whole, what can I say, the foundation that Muir gave us made it easy for me to adapt to that side. And I think the Muir Foundation also helped me a lot. The foundation I got at Muir, not the Muir Foundation.
yeah,
The
yeah.
foundation I got at Muir helped me an incredible amount to be able to speak to people in public because, believe it or not, I still won the best speakers. I think it was I can't remember the Daniel Cup for best speaker in
Yeah.
71. And that guy, and even though I'm a bit of an introvert, this gave me a lot of confidence later especially
Mm,
because most of my career, I was in command positions, to able to speak to people. When you're a
mm,
unit commander of a unit in a small town like Bethlehem,
yeah.
you're very high up on the protocol list,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
to be able to speak to people, Afrikaans, English, and just go back and forth very easily into them, that really helped me a lot.
yeah.
And the confidence I got from being a Muir boy, I think was just unbelievable. I don't, only now when started thinking about it, I realized how much that had helped me in
Yeah.
that career. And then being in part of the NEL, you can think regular visits by ministers, these type of people, giving them briefings, taking on to the new Casper, showing them how the dogs go look for landmines and explosives. It was fairly easy for me to be able to
Mm,
do that. But that all comes from the 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 solid base that we got at Muir, I believe.
nice. So going back into sort of the generational gap between
Yeah.
now and then,
Uh,
right? So if you
yeah.
look at the grade 12 boys or the boys in grade 12 today, what do you wish
Mm,
you knew at their age? So you know, you've gone through life and experienced life, but versus today, today's generation, what do you think
mm,
would maybe let me reframe it. What do you wish that
mm.
grade 12s of now would know about the world that they're gonna go out into?
I think, I've always thought about that. I think one of the things that they must know is firstly that the world owes you nothing.
Yeah.
They don't owe that owes us nothing. We go out there, we have to work. They must work for what they want to get at, but they must also go out there realizing that they've been very, very fortunate to be coming through a school like Muir,
Mm,
that the foundation has been laid, and that no matter what they do, whether they become doctors, whether they become engineers, whether they become simple soldiers like me, you do the best that you can do.
mm,
And that you're always there, that people can see that this guy is just something different because he lives by a different ethos. And irrespective of your religious background, I think the moral values that we learned at Muir, I believe, fit into most world religions
mm.
without us knowing it,
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that is the type of thing that they must realize, that they are actually very, very privileged, and that the world doesn't owe them, but they must start realizing that once they leave Muir, that what they normally say is that the escalator to the first floor is broken. You have to use the stairs, and it will take time, but they will get there. At the
Eventually.
end of the day, they will get
Mm,
there, irrespective of what their goals in life might be. It might be
mm.
very high, it might be very modest, but if they just use the background that they've got, they will be able to get there.
Nice. So
Mm.
my last generational question, right? Because I feel like it's important to ask these questions to the older Murites, to
Mm,
sort of help the younger men. And you were
mm,
in a highly masculine sort of
mm.
career throughout your whole life. I mean, from school, you had a
Yeah,
boys' school, and all the way into the army, which I assume was filled with a lot
yeah.
of men. So this
A lot
question
more than
is,
that.
is directly linked to that. How do you think ideas of masculinity, brotherhood, or being a man have changed since your days at school?
Yo, you see, I don't think that has changed for me.
Okay.
I was very much, even though we were in a boys' school, uh, and we had to portray a certain image.
Mm,
I found at Muir there was teachers that were prepared to listen to you. I
mm,
was thinking of Tom Ferreira when my mom passed on, how he was supporting me. I thought of friends that I could speak to, such as Dean, a lot of the other guys I could speak to, and I could get positive feedback, or they could speak to me. And what really makes me think when I think about this was we had one of our very good friends, very good sportsman, who passed away when we were in matric, and he was in standard 9 or grade 11. And that morning, he had passed away on a border off weekend when Ati Marie came in and he said, I can mention his name. Craig van Demeter is not with us anymore.
mm.
Uh, and he said, and we used to sing out of the Muir hymn book. I don't know if they still got that. And he said, we sang the whole Psalm 23. And obviously, we were the tough guys, what prefects, the cops
Mm,
standing at the back of the hall. And I felt myself crying, and I thought, yo. And when I looked around, all these other guys in their blue jackets were all crying. And
mm.
I realized then that cowboys do cry.
Yeah.
And I think that is a part of Muir that took me into life as well, to be to realize to be emotional at times is good,
Mm,
and to want to protect what is yours is good.
mm,
So
mm,
yeah, that was a lesson to me that at that stage in
mm.
life, which I've carried through with me. And obviously, as you get older, you get more emotional as well.
Yeah. I mean, with men, especially in the boys' school, it's really difficult to sort of unmask the tough
Yeah.
mask that you sort of wear when you go to a boys' school, because you are filled with a lot of masculine energy and men don't cry
Mm.
type of energy. So I think it's good that you have a safe space where you are allowed to express your emotions. And
Yeah.
with Mio, there's got a lot of teachers. I mean, I remember the late Miss Lingwood used to be always someone that you could go and actually talk to, and they would listen to you.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I
Mm.
think that's a good trait of any school. So we're moving now to the quick fire round. So now
Mm.
this one, um, you've
Yeah.
got 5 seconds to answer the question
Yeah.
to the best of your recollection. Okay.
Yeah.
I see you cheating there. You wrote your answers down.
I just wrote some, not all of them, because you're coming in from very lot of different angles. So don't worry, Kedu. I will answer you very truthfully. Yes.
All right. So the first question is, what is your favorite snack at tuck shop?
I didn't really visit the tuck shop,
Okay.
but Graham Eck, my class, he ran the tuck shop. So after when he come in after break, everyone would say Eck, 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 Eck. And I love those toffees with the chocolate in the middle. That was, I think it was eclairs. That was my favorite.
Your
Yes.
favorite. Okay. What's the
Yeah.
most daring rule you ever broke or bent?
I don't know. I really did not break any rules, really. I mean, I did get whacked once or twice, but I always felt it was unfair.
Yeah.
So I can't really think of any of the big rules that I broke.
So
I
you
was always there
were
in
a
time.
straightforward good
Yeah.
student.
I think so.
Okay.
Some guys won't agree, but I think I was, yes.
A sport or activity you wish you tried.
I really wished I had played hockey,
Okay.
because you could play at a much older age. I played rugby till I was 33, and then I started running and this type of thing. And my son still plays hockey. He's 40, 41 now. So yeah, I wished I'd played hockey, because I could most probably still play with him today.
Mm.
Yeah.
One song that instantly takes you back to school.
Listen, this was something. When I go past the red building, when I go to, like, I always drive past there because I drive past my old house.
Yeah.
And I always think on, I don't know if it was the name of the song or it was just the first line. Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. And if I can just quickly tell the people that why it was that. When
Okay.
I got into Muir, I was put down next to a guy by the name of Terry Ranger.
Yeah.
And Terry wasn't the massive student. He left later, as he said, Ati decided the school's too small for the two of them, so he decided to leave.
Mm.
And he would sit the whole day in class with his, with a pen playing on the desk, and he would be
Yes.
singing this song. Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. So if I see the red building, I always remember Terry and I remember Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Yeah.
So this song is Joy to the World, actually.
Oh,
The name of the
yeah.
song is
But I'll
Joy to the
always
World.
remember that. Yeah.
Awesome memory.
Yeah.
Three
I
classmates you'd
love it. Yeah.
invite to a reunion dinner, and why them?
Okay. Two of them would I'd love to invite to see for the last time because I really felt I wouldn't say unfinished business, but we
Yeah.
needed to speak to one another again.
Mm.
Was the late Okipiderit, as well as old what was his first name? Bugs Burrows. Philip Burrows, who was our second team captain when I was in matric. And uh, these were two guys I just felt that left us too early. And then obviously I'd love to have Dean at the supper as well, just to remind me of things, when he's much more clever than what I am. So he remembers things that I have forgotten and this type of thing. So yes, especially those two, I really felt I was actually looking forward in 2022 to meet Oki
Mm.
again at our 200. And I think just before that, he'd passed away. He was headmaster of Port Rex in East London, the
Mm.
technical high school. Yeah.
Okay. So we're wrapping it up right now. And I think you've answered most of the questions that I didn't even ask within your answers, which is good.
Sorry about that.
No, which is good
Mm,
because I think it's important to allow our guests to express themselves, and even if you go
mm,
through whatever, because most of the questions that I had in mind for you, you've already answered within your answers anyway. So it leaves me with, I think, two questions that I feel would be beneficial to our um,
mm,
old boys and to the guys that are still at school. What's the single
mm.
lesson you learned from school that still guides you today?
I think that I learned from school was that values are important,
Hmm.
but more important is you must live them. It doesn't help, you've run a lot of companies, they've got these beautiful values on the wall,
Mm.
but before you know it, they're prepared to take a bribe or offer you a bribe and this type of thing. So the most important lesson I learned there is be honest to yourself and be honest to other people and live your values. Don't
Nice,
just talk about them. Live them.
nice. I actually can resonate with that because I think corruption is a two-way street, and
Yeah.
it's people that lack values that have put us in this type of mess right now because
Yeah.
you allow one person to do the wrong thing, then before you know it, everybody
Every,
feels like it's right to sort
yeah.
of pay themselves or to pay their way out of trouble instead of dealing with the consequences so that there's a lesson learned at the end of it. So I
Mm.
think that's a
Yeah.
very important lesson. So my final question. So if you imagine the school 200 years from now, what do you think or what do you hope still remains?
Okay. My two things would be discipline and the respect.
Yeah.
And just to come back, I'd never been to the new school. I got there in 1999, the first time at our 25th reunion. And what absolutely wowed me was the fact that the demographics had changed, which was
Mm.
great, but that every single boy who passed you, morning, sir, do you know where you're going, sir? Can we help you, sir? Fantastic. And my dream is that never goes away.
Mm.
That we create gentlemen. That we don't have to be the best school in sport. We don't have to be that because you buy people for that. But what we give the guys, we
Very
don't
controversial,
buy.
but yes, very true.
Yes, we don't buy them. But what we give them, no other school that buys them could ever give them. So to me, that's as long as we keep on doing that, I will die a happy man and look up from the top and say, "Wow, Mio, you're going down well."
Nice. So thank you very
Mm.
much for this interview.
Mm.
It was very nice talking to you, and I hope you have a happy retirement.
Okay. Yes. No. I hope to get more involved with get to more things at the school and this type of thing as well. And I'd love to meet you there as well. So that will be great.
Yeah,
Okay.
one day when I come back, I'm still in Mpumalanga, very far,
I
but
know.
one of the
No.
reunions, maybe this year I'll make it back. I'll see.
Okay. No, I will make sure I'm there.
All
Righto.
right.
Thanks a lot, and God bless, eh?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a great interview there with Mr. Ashley Williams, taking us through his life journey and his time at Muir College. If you also want to be part of this podcast, please do send us a message on our email address, and you can also send us a message on our social media pages. I'm sure there'll be someone out there that's going to respond to you and slot you in, because we want to speak to as many Muirites as possible on these podcasts. And guys, please do not forget, it does help us when you guys engage with the content. So please press a like on the video, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please follow us on our social media pages, that is on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on LinkedIn. The OMU, the Old Muirite Union, is where we will find us. So from me, your host Ncedo Marele, and another brilliant episode of the OMU Podcast. I'll see you again next time. Cheers.